So I read a post the other day. It's from Scott Hanselman. He's speaking about the fact that he thinks everything's broken and nobody cares. And he goes on to list a list of problems in various software-related stuff. Now, Scott works at Microsoft, so it's fair to say that he's trying to change the system from within. I've seen him do it and try to do it, and he's mostly kind of successful, but it's really hard to drive the Titanic and change its position when you're just one person, or maybe just five. So I was one of the people who actually did care. I used to care a lot. I used to speak at a lot of Microsoft conferences about quality and about test-driven development and about how some of the Microsoft tools don't even fit the idea of quality that they seem to be talking about. Microsoft is about delivery, but it's not about quality. Microsoft, as far as I've seen, just wants the medium developers who don't really care about code quality to just continue to use their products. Because if Microsoft did care about code quality, they would internally care about code quality. They would internally create teams that worry about unit testing related products. They would continually worry about things that the outside community of MVPs and other people tell Microsoft about quality. So everything that I've seen from Microsoft that relates to code quality has been just, how would you say it, lip service. So I think a lot of the things that we see today in the Microsoft space, I'm not saying that Microsoft is the only one, a lot of the things that we see today are the result of a big company that drives a specific direction, and that direction is not quality, it's just selling tools. If Microsoft spent more time in conferences, getting more and more people talking about code quality and TDD and unit testing and craftsmanship, perhaps some of this would change. Like, Microsoft doesn't necessarily want to, because what happened when alt.NET came about? Alt.NET was all about people who were trying to look around and see what other tools there are, what other techniques. And a lot of the alt.NET people, me included, they saw the Ruby community, saw the Python community, etc., and they realized that some other communities are advancing at a much faster pace, and they care much more about quality. Microsoft had no intention to do that. Once they saw some people are starting to leave, they created lip service related products, such as the horrible unit testing support they have in Visual Studio, horrible test-driven development articles they have on MSDN, and they have a couple of people who kind of care about unit testing but don't really do anything about it, except Brad Wilson, who's trying to do a lot of good stuff inside Microsoft about unit testing. But Brad is just one person, and changing the Titanic is kind of problematic when you're just one person. So the result of a lot of the things broken in the Microsoft space, the way I see it, is totally the result of Microsoft not paying attention to quality, not paying attention to MVPs and other influencers who know a lot about this stuff when they say to Microsoft, you have to change this, you have to change that. It's the result of Microsoft people not talking at conferences about quality, but only about product. It's a result of sales-driven culture instead of a quality-driven culture. Now, I would say that Apple has a better quality, but some iTunes sucks, and etc. But I haven't been inside the Apple culture that long. I haven't been inside other companies' culture that long as I've been in Microsoft, so I can say only my points of view from the Microsoft space. Now, I have been an MVP for 6 years, and not once have I actually been heard as an MVP about code quality. The person who actually helped create NUnit actually does work at Microsoft, but funnily enough has nothing to do with the unit testing tools division. That's weird to me. Microsoft does not seem to pay attention to code quality, either internally or externally. And one of the best solutions to drive the idea of everything is broken is by fixing how Microsoft is driving the community and what is the direction they're driving them in. I don't think that currently, I don't think there's anything you can do that will change anything for at least a couple of years. But if you start now, in a couple of years, maybe things will start to change. And instead of lip service, I would love to see Microsoft Tech Ed track just about test-driven development and craftsmanship. Can you imagine that happening? Every track and every session in things like tech ed, have to be sponsored by a team, by a product. So they're sales driven. They're not community and quality driven. And that's my rant for today. Cheers.